welcome back to the MTR Network. This is Chris and Deepam here. And we're back for the first, is it the first? Yeah, I guess this is the first Super Tuesday of 2017. I think because Shannon the Doctor did the Slingshot Super Tuesday still in December. So welcome back. First Super Tuesday of 2017. And we're not reviewing the shows this time, although Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is back this week. So we don't really get a break.
It's the most diabolical shit in the world.
Oh my god! Between that and then the fact that the CW shows moved to are moving Legend of Tomorrow to Tuesday, ooh, dude, what the fuck?
The recording schedule will stay the same.
Oh no! Legend of Tomorrow is staying on Sundays. I'm sorry if it's late. Fuck it. Those shows don't come back until the 24th, right? Or do they come back next week?
Yeah.
All right, I'm hoping so because I'm gone that week, so we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do for Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Maybe Shannon will be able to join you for that one or something. Yeah. But yeah, we're back because one of the things I realized when we had the break over the summer and there were no shows, that we started talking comic books, and those are some of our biggest shows. People enjoyed when we talked comic books. You know, there's Rebirth, there was Marvel stuff. People really enjoyed that shit, and we also talk movies and TV and other TV news and stuff like that. So we're back to do that because a lot of stuff has happened in the comic book world. Before we get into that, did we have any new reviews? Because everybody knows. Okay, if you give us a 5-star review, we will read it on air. But no reviews now, so I guess let's get right into it. A lot of stuff's been happening, man. Like I know when we were doing this over the summer and talking comic books, we talked a lot about how we weren't sure how Rebirth was going to turn out. It was like, it's either really, really bad or going to be really, really good. And I think so far, it's been pretty good for DC.
Okay, so I'm not reading everything over there, and I'll be the first to admit it. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not reading certain books that I've been told I should read.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Superman titles. But everything I'm reading, Chris, like, it's good. Like, really good.
Isn't it one of those things where you're reading them, you're like, all right, but what's the twist? When are you gonna fuck this up? When are you gonna fuck this shit up? When are you gonna?
This Nightwing run is great. What's gonna happen next? Because by the way, the Nightwing run is great.
Look, here, you know what my favorite book though is?
What?
Titans.
Yo, because
I just caught up on it now. I saved the Titan books to read. I read the Titan books today, and I was just like, oh, I can't wait to talk about this today. I can't wait to talk about it. Like it's a Wally West book.
It's 100% what it is.
It's
just a Wally book. I'm sure they'll adjust it as they get more arcs in, but like the open is Wally West and Friends.
Dude, I am so here for that shit. Yeah, I mean, and remember back in the summer we were talking about this. We were talking about how Marvel was kicking DC's ass in sales and things like that. Hey, August and September, I believe DC came out and was running the table. You know, and got to give credit where credit is due. I will say now, if you keep up on it, it's gone back to normalizing a little bit. It's still in the top 10. You still only get Bat books. You know, I believe it was December or November I looked at.
They're great
November.
Bat books.
No, they're great. Hey, don't get me wrong. They're great Bat books.
Oh, God.
But I think across the board, and we talked about this before, I think retail sales are down.
Yes.
But I think DC seems to be doing the Marvel thing too, which is I think they realize that their digital numbers are pretty good too. Because people are reading these books. They are. So I think that's good. I haven't said it in a while, but I'm going to say it now. DC, get a fucking unlimited. Because we need that. Because honestly, it's just too much to keep up on.
Yeah.
But no, good. Hey, you know what? Again, because we were hard on DC, and I've always said, I will be fair. If the shit is shit, I'll say it's shit. If it's good, yes, I will say it's good. Hey, Rebirth had me nervous, but it's been really, really good. And I think one of the things that has surprised me, and when we talk about this, they haven't rushed to get that Watchmen shit in there, right? You get a thing here or there. Like at the end of the Titans run, you have Kadabra saying, I think it was Lilith saying he only said one name, was Manhattan, you know. And again, if the Titans don't know what that fucking means, but you as a reader know.
They've been doing a really good slow play because you think about like and I imagine this is spoilers for a book that's 4 months out. Spoiler alert: Detective Comics when Tim Drake allegedly died.
Yeah,
and it was taken by this other figure. Like you've seen these things. It's been things where it's not entire arcs. Like except for Titans, excuse me, because Titans is just like a Wally West book, which is just tied to Rebirth. So. Mm-hmm. we can say it's a 1-page tease, but it's really like a 6-issue tease.
Right.
But you look at something like the Tim Drake thing, or the little hints that are being dropped in Superbooks. It's so subtle and so
not
patient.
DC. It's show not DC.
Patient.
It's show not DC.
It's not. So I'm like, you assholes about to hit the gas, right? Come on.
I don't. This is. I'm not used to this. I'm not used to you guys doing. I'm not used to DC seeing the shiny light at the end of the tunnel and not racing to it like a flash, right?
Right.
Because that's what we usually do. Like, that was the thing about Flashpoint that I hated. You know, I was like, yo, you have some good stuff here. Why are you only having 3-issue arcs?
They didn't give anything room to breathe.
Right. You never get a time to, you know, sometimes comic book arcs and what you're setting up, it's like a fine wine. You got to let it, we're going to talk more about that, like when I talk about Nick Spencer and what he did with fucking Captain
this
America.
Motherfucker, dude. Oh, look.
Like, we'll save that there. But again, this is why we like Hickman so much. It's like why we like Snyder so much. It's like you have these when you have writers out there and you have, you know, books out there that will slow burn you this stuff. Yeah, sure. If you're sitting in the comic section and you're only reading the tweets from people who honestly I don't think are reading books but are only reading panels, preview panels, then yeah, you're going to react to that. But if you believe in your stuff and what you're doing here, it's good stuff. Like, I remember so many times when they spoiled, the preview pages spoiled the whole, and reviewers like, oh, they killed Tim Drake. And I was like, oh, damn, that got spoiled for me. So then I go and read the book, and I was like, wait a minute. They didn't kill Tim Drake.
They made a very big point of not killing Tim Drake.
Like, it's very clear. Like, yeah, everybody else in the universe thinks he's dead, but he's not dead. And that's important. I mean, I think if I remember that panel correctly, they even said it's like, yeah, we need to take you off the board. Like you're It's basically them taking an important piece off the board because you can figure this shit out. We need to take you out the game, right? Which lets you know there's a larger thing going on here. I really like how that's doing. Like you see DC. It's funny. DC and Marvel are doing having two different models right here, but I think it works for each one of them. I think what Marvel's doing works for Marvel. I think what DC's doing right now works for DC. It's one of those things that makes you go, well, fuck. If DC, why can't you do what you're doing in the books? What you're doing in your fucking movies?
Yeah, but I understand why we would want that. Mm-hmm. But as a movie studio, and I'm not defending what DC's done, mm-hmm. but as a movie studio, you can't be like, okay, so we've got a slow burn plan that's going to take place over 4 movies when you haven't had one successful movie.
Yeah, no, I don't mean them do a slow burn like that. What I mean is do your own find what works for you.
Yeah,
and do that. Like that's what I mean. That
they think that because of the Nolan films that dark and gritty is what works for them, and they don't realize that worked for that Batman, mm-hmm. and that Batman tone does not, I repeat, not translate to Superman. Mm-mm. The contrast is what makes him important.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and that's the one lesson from, see what Marvel did was they said, we're going to be the, like, superheroes that big action, but with comedy and heart. And DC said, we've already proven that grim and gritty sells. We're going to do that. And it's easier to play within the, let's have an upbeat tone because you can tell a heist story. You can tell an origin story. You can tell a period piece in Captain America. You can tell an espionage thriller in Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. With what they've done in DC is they've locked themselves into these stories where they're almost suffocated by their own weight.
Right.
They feel the expectations and importance. So I was discussing Batman vs Superman with one of my friends who didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. But whose opinions I consider important and worthy, and he said a very good point to me. He's like, "There's very little they could have done to make the movie we wanted to see,"
true.
Which is probably true.
Yeah, true.
But they said that they ran from those expectations so hard that it made them stand out even more. Mm-hmm. Like Force Awakens. There's no way, after all the years of expanded universe and all the comics and Dark Horse shit, there's no way that a lot of people who were very invested in that stuff would not come away feeling a little uneasy or a little unpleased by the film.
Right.
But as opposed to saying, well, we're just going to avoid all those like situations together, they said, you know, we're gonna wear that part on the chin and still tell our story.
Mm-hmm. You
And
accept
that's
it.
what they did.
Yeah. Imagine if, and again, we'll get into. If it seems like I'm excited to talk about this because I just talked about it with Justin on the Insanity Check yesterday. I went back and I started reading them. With Nick Spencer, if Nick Spencer reacted to people who honestly just weren't reading books, the way they were on Twitter and adjusted his story in Captain America, it wouldn't have worked. But
At all.
good God, is it working for me? Yeah. So again, let's talk some Rebirth stuff. What books are you reading right now?
Okay, so I've got a problem. I started reading like a couple books, and then I was like, well, I really like. I read most of the new Red Hood run, because I was like, I'm enjoying Dick and his books. I wonder what Jason's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading Detective Comics. I'm reading Batman. I'm reading All-Star Batman, which was awesome. The Two-Face story that Scott Snyder told was great. I'm reading Tom King's Batman, who, if the name sounds familiar, Tom King wrote Vision at Marvel, which was 12 issues of, I can't remember if we've talked about it or not enough on here, but I don't think you can. It's a perfect comic book. It's a horror movie written over 12 issues, and it's amazing. But he locked up an official with a exclusive contract with DC, so now he's writing Batman, and it's been great. So far, I don't know if you're reading it. Titans, obviously. Flash, obviously. I've caught up on the Green Lanterns run. I'm really enjoying that. It's a different book that I think I was looking for, but it's still a good book. I'm intrigued by it. The Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps, I'm reading again because that's the Green Lantern book I was looking for. And I didn't realize it until I was like, you put Hal Jordan in the front of it, but like it's half Hal Jordan story, half the rest of the Corps coming back story. Kyle shows up in one of the, like, now you've got the big four lanterns all in one book. It's Hal, Kyle, Guy, and John all in one book. Mm-hmm. The four Earth Lanterns, save the two new guys. I haven't been reading Justice League. I've heard good things about it. I haven't been reading Superman. I've heard great things about Superman. I'm behind on Wonder Woman. I've caught up on Green Arrow, which is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't read. I've only read the first couple issues of Green Arrow, but I know it was good. I have a subscription to the Wonder Woman books. I'm just behind on them.
Yeah, I'm so behind on Wonder Woman. Yeah. Are you reading Justice League Suicide Squad?
No, but I've heard good things about it, and I want.
Okay,
I'm
lukewarm on it.
Huh? Yeah,
I'm lukewarm. I think it's good. It's a good premise. The third issue is exceptionally wordy and expository. Like, it was like to the point where it's distracting. You're like, nothing happened.
You know what was with me, and I think we talked about this when the Suicide Squad Rebirth came out. I was lukewarm on that. Mm-hmm. I was lukewarm on the Suicide Squad Rebirth issues, the first two. So I was hesitant. So I haven't gone back to check them out. But yeah, I've heard good things about it. I just haven't.
The Squad series got better, in my opinion.
Okay.
And now reading this crossover, I don't think, like, the third issue, it pulls you out of the story very much. Okay. Like, it's 30 pages of them explaining what's happening, and it's like, come on, man, like, throw me a recap page and let's move this story forward.
Right.
And it's so weird. It's like they literally recap the fight that happened in the first two issues. Like, that's part of that's like they burned 2 or 3 pages recapping that fight, like just talking about what happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that seems like you didn't really value your page. Your pages there, guys. But maybe it's going to turn with 4, 1 and 2, or if you don't want to read, if you don't read too much into them, they're good. Mm-hmm. I think it's DC's first event of Rebirth era.
Yeah.
Which is going to be tricky. You got to find their footing. And we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about it right now. So you get a lot of people who say they have event fatigue, which is a lie because events sell more. So don't lie and say that, I don't like events. But at the same time, if you want the universe to be connected, you want these meetings to matter, then the events have to happen. They have to. Someone said, so spoilers, I guess, an image leaked this week of Captain America, of Nick Spencer's, I guess, big meta arc or big story they're going to do, Secret Empire.
Right.
And it's got Captain America, Steve Rogers' shield on there, and it looks like it's the culmination of the seeds, the threads has been seeding. Mm-hmm. Someone had the damn audacity to say, I would read it was just confined to Steve's book. And I'm like, wait a fucking second. If you want the universe to matter and you want Captain America being evil to matter, it can't be confined to Cap's book.
Yeah, so I've been hearing a lot of the fatigue book thing, and I feel like this is one of the errors because we now have access to the internet. People can just vent. This shit doesn't make sense to me because so far the events we've had have been spectacular. Like they've been great, and not just in terms of the story. I mean, in terms of how they handle other books. So, listen, Civil War II. We're gonna talk about that later on. But the way they handle Civil War II and the peripheral books was how you want to handle events. You could actually, honestly, skip Civil War II and just read Spider-Man.
Yo, you can skip. As I was thinking, I was like, that this is the first. No, probably not the first time, but one of the first times in recent memory that I was like, the main series was okay and the Titans were great.
Right. Like,
I think that's how I felt about Secret Invasion too. Like the main series was meh. The tie-ins were awesome.
And that's, to me, Civil War II was about. The main story, like, again, was okay, but most of the action and the really impactful stuff happens in all the series around it. Like I said, you read that Spider-Man book and you're just like, yeah, I didn't need, like, they actually recap, if you think about it, I think it's either Spider-Man, was it 10 or 11?
10 or 11, they tell you all of what happened in Civil War 6.
all of what happens in Civil War 7 and 8, they basically tell you from Spider-Man showing up at the steps of the. It's weird because you just talked about how, you know, in Suicide Squad they recapped what happened, but the way they did it in Spider-Man was so good because
it was through Miles' eyes.
Right, it was what happened with, and it was spectacular, and so you don't actually have to read. And again, to me, if we can get to the part where I can skip the main story and just focus on the individual books, I'm okay with that.
By the way, you shouldn't just skip the main. Like, I know we're saying this here, but Civil War II is pretty good. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. But, like, you could do that. And so, because the problem people always had was they were in the middle of their story. There was a book they were reading. They really liked their characters, and they were in the middle of the story. And then all of a sudden, a big event happened, and boom, it took them out of the main story. I don't think any of that happens in Civil War II. And, again, if that's something that DC also does with some of their Rebirth tie-ins and things like that, that'll be great as well. You know, because that way you don't have to buy that event book. If you do, it's great. You can read it, but it doesn't take away, it doesn't impede on the creators of an individual solo book and the story they're trying to tell. It's all one collaborative effort, and it's an event. That's how it should be. Events should be that way, right? You know, and I don't know. We'll get to more with Civil War II, but yeah, I'm really excited to see where both of these companies go with this stuff, man. It's been fun. So, any other books you're reading for DC?
The answer I know in my head is yes, but it's hard to keep track because there's a lot of stuff that like I'll drop in for like I've read most of the Suicide Squad stuff. I dropped in for an issue or two. Aquaman I haven't been reading. I need to be reading. I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, I started reading Aquaman.
I was excited. I was hoping it'd be great.
Yeah.
Green Arrow is great. I will vouch for that. I know Superman's great. I just need to read it. I know the new Teen Titans is serviceable. Batman, I already said, is great. All the Bat books are great right now.
Yeah, I think Detective Comics is my favorite, but yeah.
Detective Comics would be the best comic being made right now.
Yeah, no, it is a fantastic
It's so good.
It's a fantastic book.
It has no business being that good.
Yeah, no.
None. It's so good. Like week in and week, every month, I'm like, that, knock it out of the fucking park again.
Yeah. For me, like, again, I've been so far behind and everything, so I kind of quickly read some stuff last couple of weeks between Marvel and DC. And my DC stuff, I focused on stuff that we hadn't talked about in a while. So, obviously, it was catching up on Titans, which, again, I cannot stress enough that is my... Dude, in issue 5, when Wally has to run to save all the Titans...
Oh.
That was it. That's what I was like...
I was just Wally Westbrook. It's all it is.
Dude, like, it is, like, you gotta read, like, that issue right alone is what's, like, it didn't just tell me in the book, it was like, all right, DC, I'm 100% in on our Rebirth, yo. That's it. Because it gets you everything. It's Wally knowing that if what happens when Flashes run too fast, knowing that if he runs as fast as he can, and he's literally calculating what person to go to. He's like, okay, I know how fast it's going to take for that rope to burn for Linda. I know how fast it's going to take for those arrows to get to I can't remember who was tied up there.
Garth Roy.
Yeah, Garth. Yeah, and it was just like it was fantastic, and I'm just like, this is amazing. And then the whole time, Kadabra is like beside him talking to his ear, but Wally won't talk back. But he's like, that'll slow me down and cause drag. I'm like, yo, this is a fucking book right here. Like, they were the hell out of those fucking panels, dude. I don't give a shit. And then the next book, when he's in the Speed Force with Linda, the apparition of Linda, I'm like, yo, this is like the what is it? The Very Good Dinosaur, whatever that episode that Kevin Smith did for the Flash,
the Runaway Dinosaur.
The Runaway Dinosaur. It reminded me of that episode. I was like, oh my god, this is Titans is my shit, yo. Okay, I just got to get it out there. That's
Are you
my
reading
shit.
Nightwing?
No, I did get the first issue of Nightwing. I liked it. I just haven't gotten into it.
Let me just tell you. So the first arc's very good. The second arc's very good. The beginning of the third arc, he moves to Bloodhaven, and he runs into a support group for old Gotham villains who call themselves the Runoffs, who are trying to get their lives back together. And at one point, one of them turns to him and says, "Huh, you're kind of like a runoff too." It's support group, like it's people who have PTSD from him arresting them when he was Robin.
Right.
And he's like helping them. Like, dude, it's so good.
Oh god, I gotta get up with that now. So I remember we had a conversation about this when we did the Teen Titans book. I read the Teen Titans. I think there's 3 or 4 issues of that.
I have no idea.
Yes. How many issues of it did you read?
I didn't. I read the beginning, the first issue, and now I'm out.
Okay, so I'm gonna say I'm giving it a chance because I see what you were talking about with they're trying to write Damon like Batman, and you do that.
Well, that's my biggest problem with Damian as a character.
Right. I don't think that's the way they're gonna go though.
Okay.
I think they're trying to go back to the way of he's just like all the other Robins when they join the Teen Titans. They all end up not wanting to be Batman, and I feel like what they're trying to do, what they had with Damon this first arc is him having to, once again deal with that pull between his bloodline, right, between Batman and Ra's, right. But there's a scene, there's a panel in there where it's his 13th birthday, and Bruce Wayne isn't there. So I really don't think that they're gonna have him like he's. I think that as he's getting in with the Titans, you're going to see him becoming more of his own character and not being like Bruce
Batman
Wayne.
light. Yeah.
Right. And I think that's where they're trying to go with. Because I think that when you read the other issues, the other Teen Titans is like, dude, you're not... Like, there's that one point, Wally literally laughs at him because they're like... Why should we trust you? Why do you think you can do this? He's like, because I'm Batman. They're like, what? What did you just say? He's like, I'm the son of Batman. They're like, no, that's not what you said. That's not what
shit.
You said.
Okay.
Yeah, no, dude. So I really think that they're aware of the problem of Damian, but I think they're going to use that to kind of, because if you think about it, all the Robins have done this, right? They've all come in, they've all been in the Batman shadows, but you've always seen them become their own. Dick did it. Tim did it. I really think you're going to see, well, there's Jason, and, well, we see how much he didn't want to be like Batman.
He did the best he could.
and then you have Damian. So I really think you see that, like, yeah. So I'm interested in seeing where they're going. To me, it feels like an old Titans book, Teen Titans book, in that they each need their own. Like, there's that one point where they go around and Damon, it's either Damon or it's like the name or something like that. Talk about how each of them is running from their own past and things like that, and trying to be something that they're not. Like Wally's so much trying to be is running away from the fact that Daniel was the Reverse Flash. Who else was there? There's Starfire not trying to be like her sister. So it's like I really think you're going to see them bring it back to what we love so much about those other Teen Titan books. Like I think they even throw a little because we never covered the New 52 stuff. They even threw in a little shade at the New 52 Titans. It was like, yeah, the Teen Titans have been a joke and they've been nothing more than barely criminals, So it's like, I don't know. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to keep giving it a chance.
All right.
So we'll see.
That's a convincing argument. You've told me more. You've made me more interested in the book than anything I've read online.
Yeah, the Rebirth issue and maybe the first issue don't really give you enough because again, it's nothing more than cocky Damian Wayne,
which is yeah,
right. But you see him humbled really quickly. So yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna give it because there's at one point he goes to do something, and he's doing something that on one hand you're like that's kind of Batman like, but he almost calls the Titans his friends. Like he starts saying it, he's like, I gotta sacrifice myself for my for those other people, and I'm just like, oh man, he really wants friends. That's what it is. He has, and again, that's not Batman. Batman doesn't want friends. He doesn't need friends. Right. He has no idea for having friends, and so. Yeah, I think this is his. You're going to see this is Damian's way of realizing that he's not rich and he's not destined for that. But I think he's going to realize that maybe trying to be Batman is not what his thing is either. So we'll see. So, but yeah, that's there. I really want to catch up on Wonder Woman because I know that's great.
I know it's great.
I saw some of the I saw the previews of the annual page with a little black girl. I got to catch up on that shit. So
yeah, I'm just behind.
I got to get there. Yeah, I'm just behind. Again, the problem is there's so many books. I will say another thing too that's been great for DC that I think was a great thing for them, and I think helps them beat or at least stay helping them really stay competitive with Marvel and their sales. The $2.99 price tag on those books, man, makes it so much easier. Like I realized some of the books I didn't have a subscription for. I had to buy them today. Not a problem for me if it's $2.99. $4.99. Now we gotta talk. I gotta
think about it.
I gotta think about it. I gotta make decisions. $2.99. Oh, that's easy. And you buy 3 books? Fine, no problem. You know. So I think that was a smart thing on there. And then also them for a lot of this stuff, they release them twice a month.
Yeah.
Which also is a huge help. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing on them. So anything else you want to talk about with DC Rebirth?
I want to implore everyone to pick up Green Arrow. It's actually really good.
Yeah. I've read the first 2 or 3 issues of that, and it was good. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed. They
did some really good job, really good, really fun things with it.
Same with Aquaman. I like Aquaman too. Like I think I got the first.
I need to get back
4 or 5 of Aquaman. Yeah.
I'm the things I'm reading from DC. I am really enjoying. I don't think there's any books I've really been like, oh, I'm out on that, and I dropped it immediately. Besides Titans, it's just, and we'll talk about this when we get to the next 2 conversations. There's so much good content, and they were the 3rd major group to kind of set their game up. Mm-hmm. So I'm trickling to their books.
Right. Yeah.
Like, before we talk Marvel, I think we should talk anything that's not Big 3 that we're reading.
Yeah, go
ahead. And I'm, at this point, I think I'm on the payroll.
I know
Lost Light 1 came out since the last time we spoke about comics, and I was on the Transmissions podcast doing a review of it. It was a great issue. The new issue comes out, I think, in the next 2 weeks. That's just, I mean, IDW is having a really good year creatively. They brought some high priced and high powered talent to G.I. Joe. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of really trying to rebuild that aspect of the universe, but they've let James Roberts do his thing in his corner. They've let the rest of the Transformers books kind of exist. And so if you like Transformers, those books are doing really well. If you're a G.I. Joe fan, apparently it's the time to get back on board. They've kind of rebooted here, and I guess they're doing things going forward. They've actually thrown the Transformer into the G.I. Joe books, and while the G.I. Joe writers call G.I. Joe the crown jewel of the Hasbro universe, I note that they don't have any G.I. Joes in Transformers books yet. There are Transformers in the G.I. Joe books. Yeah. Oh, if you think I'm like the fact that they've run that interview in the back of all the IDW books for like the last 3 months, and every time I finish the book, I'm like, that was great. I turn to the next page and I see the words "Crown Jewel of Hasbro, G.I. Joe." I'm like, you sons of bitches. I leave the experience angry afterwards. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to the book. Walking Dead is still really good. I finally sat down and caught up like a month ago. Mm-hmm. Really good. Like, I know the show is the show, and we all feel our ways about the show. The comic, Robert Kirkman's really good at writing comic books. Right. I finally caught up to Southern Bastards by Jason Aaron, who writes all the Thor books that I'm going to talk about effusively soon. Oh my God, read Southern Bastards. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. Oh man, it's so good. Just read the book. I'm sorry, I can't describe it. It's really good. Just read the book. It's not superhero book. It's just small town Alabama football, and it's insane how good this book is. And yeah, just please support that book. What else am I reading indie wise? What are you reading that's not big too, so I can think?
Uber Invasion came back. I told you guys about the
Oh,
Kickstarter
I
for
did the
that.
Kickstarter. I need to check my email.
Yeah, check. Oh yeah, if you did the Kickstarter, check your email. You should have gotten all the stuff. They should have emailed you something so you can download all your stuff. If you did enough to
I'm
get
doing
like,
after this.
yeah. So if you did the Kickstarter, you should be able to get all the. Cause I actually have now. I've already had them, so I might gift out now the entire first arc they did. But then issue 1 came out. Invasion is about them. I didn't even finish the issue yet because I started reading it and I was like, I need to savor this. Like it's so good because the beginning of the issue is basically the U.S. president talking about how the state of the war and about how they can still beat Germany and how the Germans didn't come back and they can beat them and they're like, yeah, well, at least they're not going to touch us. And while they're having that conversation, they keep flashing back to like this one like lake. And you don't know why, and eventually you see what it is it's the Germans invading America, and they're coming out of the water. Like, listen, Uber is that shit, man. Like, go up there now, find Uber, read the original, the first 20, I think the first arc is 26 issues, read that, and then go out and get to the Uber Invasion, man, because they're about to fuck shit up here in the United States, man. It's gonna be so fucking good, man. It's gonna be so fucking good. It's it's such a good book. So I got that. I know the latest issue of Saga came out, so I haven't caught up on that yet. I like to let my sagas I like to let Saga stew like one. Yeah, get like 6 issues and then burn through the 6 issues. But Saga's always great. I think that's pretty much it right now.
Okay.
You know what it is? This isn't new, but I'm doing it for a comic book club. We're wrapping up next year. Fables. Like, Fables is 150 issues. Right. Listen, man, that's a great... If you've never read Fables... If you're not a comic book reader, you don't think you're into comic books, get Fables. I think Fables might be that thing that you enjoy. Like, I've really been enjoying... Like, I got 10 issues left to finish 150 of this series. Like I said, we'll be doing a comic book club to wrap it up next week. It's great, man. Like, Fables is a really great story. I know they have some spinoffs. They're hit or miss, but I think the what was it? I think the Cinderella one's probably pretty good. I have to go back and read that one. That's because Cinderella's basically a spy. She's like a super spy who kills people. Like, it's like Fables is awesome.
I've heard really good things about Fables. I read. I want to say I started it when it came out because it came out when I was in college, like originally.
Yeah.
And I started it, and I think I fell off like around 25, but I need to get back into it.
Oh, get back into it, man. It's good. It's fucked up. It's emotional. Like, man. Like, no, man, because it's your childhood, and then you realize these people were fucked up. Like the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, yo. That is not a kid's story, yo. That is basically kidnapped and raped her, yo. Like, it's like it is not. It is a fucked up book, man, but it's so good, so good. And if you think that's bad, you go, oh, they use a woman. No, she later comes back and she learns how to fence and kills them all. So yeah,
or she does.
Yeah. Yeah. Snow White's a badass, just so you know.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's it right now. Like I said, I've been so far behind on everything. Like, I've been.
And the thing is, like, people are gonna say, "Oh, you missed this." We know.
Oh, I know. It's just between that and the people was like, I still gotta watch Fringe. Like, I got so much
you do
shit.
have to watch Fringe.
I know.
Like, that's some real talk. I'm not happy about
There's
that.
so much shit I have to do, and I'm thinking about this year writing more reviews. And actually, I'll make the announcement here. The Expanse comes back in February. I'm gonna start writing reviews for The Expanse. I'm gonna try to do them weekly. They'll be out there. I'll get them out there. They'll happen when they happen. I'm trying to build up our written reviews on things and build up my credentials. So I'll be writing reviews of The Expanse. So it's like, no, there's a ton of stuff going on. I'm going to try to start finding time to read some of this shit, though, because, there's so much. Here's the thing. What a time to be alive. There's so much good shit to read. All right, let's move into, I guess, Marvel. All
right, so everybody get comfortable.
Yeah, before we get into the big stuff, I gotta say, I wrapped up, and we talked about this when we did the Rogue One spoiler review. I wrapped up the Darth Vader run.
Nigga.
Listen, guys.
Let's start with the Star Wars books because they're great. And I hate this because I'm going to sit here for the next however long and be like, just read it. It's great.
Dude, listen, first of all, if you're reading Darth Vader and you like Darth Vader and you're not reading Uber, you're fucking up. Because the guy who writes Darth Vader writes Uber. All right? So that should tell you, get on that shit. All right? Listen. The Vader book takes place in between A New Hope and Empire. And it basically shows you how Darth Vader got back into the good graces of the Emperor. And holy shit, man. Like, this is how you... I know we saw that 30 seconds in Rogue One, and we're like, this is why Darth Vader is an amazing... is a badass. That book shows you even more how much of a badass he is, yo.
All I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Dude.
Nigga. Like that, I'm sorry. That's a great line.
Yeah. Dude.
Who is it, Kieran Gillian?
Kieran Gillian.
Oh, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, man, just amazing.
He's
That's why
that's
why I took over so long to get back out, because he was writing Darth Vader. So that Vader runs over again. It's 25 issues. What I love about I'm loving this thing that comic books are doing now, and Marvel's really been good at this. You give a writer 25 issues or so. Hey, just write your story arc, and then we're done. We'll move on to something else. Either another book, maybe we end the book, maybe we find another something like that. I don't know. But yeah, that Darth Maul, the Darth Vader book is so good. I can't wait until next month when the Darth Maul book comes out. I'm buying that shit day one.
Who's writing that?
I don't give a fuck. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what his name is or her name is. It doesn't matter. I'm buying that. I ain't buying the fuck out of that book.
Oh, fair enough. That's a very honest answer.
Yeah, man. Again, here's the thing. That's the only one I've been reading. I know the other ones are good. I've stopped reading.
I'll step in here.
Yeah.
All the Star Wars books. If you like that universe, if you're all intrigued by it, read these Marvel Star Wars books. If you're saying, oh, I read the Dark Horse stuff, this is not Dark Horse. Here's how you know it's not Dark Horse. John Cassidy illustrated the first arc of Star Wars, and it reaffirmed my theory that John Cassidy should draw everything all the time.
Right.
If you don't know who John Cassidy is, he's the one who drew the Astonishing X-Men run for Joss Whedon.
Yeah, man, that was some.
He should draw everything always.
Right? Can we get you to draw everything?
Good Lord! I was like, well, that's Mark Hamill, circa 1977, transported into a comic book page.
Yeah. He draws his ass off, yo. Yeah.
It's unbelievable how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
All the and this is something that, and I want to say their parent company Disney does really well too, is they take in these different, like, I don't read the Dark Tower stuff, but I've heard it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel's doing the Stephen King books they've done comic books for. Oh, it's Cullen Bunn writing it? Yeah, I'm in on Darth Maul.
Oh, Cullen Bunn, he's doing Darth Maul. Oh, he did the. For those who don't realize, he's the one that did the Magneto run we covered when we did the Magneto character corner. Oh, nigga, yeah, I'm reading that shit, yo. Okay. I told you it didn't matter who his name was, but now that I know who his name is, let me go. As soon as I get off of this shit, I'm going to go ahead and put a pre-order subscription in on Comixology right then and there, yo. Yeah, I'm doing that shit, yo.
Yeah, Cullen Bunn's great. And our reaction to who's writing this book should tell you why the Star Wars books are so good.
Yeah.
They're putting money and time behind it, and they're best creators on the books, and they're giving them freedom. I'm sure they've got a skeleton from Disney. I'm sure they can't tell like crazy stories. They can't, but like whatever room they've been given, they have to be pressing the edges. They have to. It's too good.
Yep.
Yeah, Cullen Bunn. Wow, that's really exciting.
Yeah, dude, I'm so excited.
I'm like over here a little freaked out. Like, yeah, man. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cullen Bunn wrote a lot of stuff I love. Okay, great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we talked about the Star Wars books. Let's just go through families of books.
Mm-hmm.
What Avengers books are you reading?
Oh man, both the Captain books now. So
are you reading the teams?
What do you mean teams?
Like
I'm behind on the Avengers book.
Okay,
but I do have a subscription to that. I wanted so here's the thing. I haven't gotten the post Civil War stuff yet, but on my mind is definitely Champions.
Yo, Champions is so fucking good.
Dude, I see the preview page and I'm like, yo, I need to get that book. I need that in my life. I'm gonna get in on that. You know what it was? So you're talking about the Avengers book now. Because what I need is not Avengers stuff. It's off topic, but I need a good recommendation for X-Men books.
That's what we will get to the X-Men thing. I will recommend you good books.
Okay, good. That's good.
Because I'm caught up in X-Men now.
Oh, perfect. That's what I realized that my weakness is right now. I don't have any X books, and I'm like, I gotta fix that because that's just.
I got you. Okay. I got you. I don't know what's gonna look like post IVX Inhuman versus X-Men, but we'll see. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Avengers book. So you're not reading the main series?
I have it. I haven't caught up on it.
Okay. I want to say this right now. All the Avengers books, all the team books are really good. Mm-hmm. The Uncanny Avengers, that's the Unity Squad with Cable and Evil Cap and Rogue and Deadpool. And they're fighting the Red Skull. That's taken some twists that I didn't expect. They've done some really pretty ballsy things there. The main Avengers book where they had Spider-Man and Nova and Miss Marvel all leave after Civil War. Mm-hmm. That's still a really good book just because the way that team's put together is really entertaining. Individual books, Infamous Iron Man is amazing.
Yeah, that's, again, on my list because that's the Victor as,
It's Doom as Iron Man. Yeah. And literally, people say, well, what else about the book? I'm like, if that didn't sell you.
Right, what else do you need?
What do you want from me? It's how many times have you gotten a dedicated Doctor Doom book with like internal monologues and like we know how Doom thinks? It's crazy to read, like really weird to read, but it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
The other Iron Man book, it's Riri's book.
I think it's just isn't it just Invincible?
Is it just Iron Man?
I thought it was just Invincible Iron Man. I thought because
she might be Invincible. Okay, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's I don't know. We're gonna talk about Civil War in a second, but her AI powering her suit is Tony Stark, which is awesome, and it's really well illustrated. It's one of the two books right now that I'm most excited about. The other one being another Avengers title, The Unstoppable Wasp.
Oh,
are you reading this?
No.
Do you know what they're doing?
No.
So in the book, I need to pull. I don't want to get this wrong. At the back of every issue, they feature 2 STEM women of color, and they do profiles on them in the back of the comic. Like, how many books can you think of that are really saying, like, oh, not only Marvel, DC, whatever, not only is this going to be important to us, like saying that we're courting our female readers, but we're saying women can be in science too. Like, they're It's an empowerment book.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm buying that just off of TP then.
Yo, like, it's so good. And when, okay. So, like, in the first issue, I'm going to read this to you. So, welcome to our letters page, Agents of GIRL. Why do I call our letters page that, you ask? That's a really good question. You're so on top of things. Well, we love getting letters about how much you love the book. Of course you love the book. I'm delightful. We are also hard at work recruiting lady adventure scientists for a girl. Genius in action research labs. And if I may be able to fly, but even I can get to every lady genius in the world. So send us your suggestions for comic reading, nerdy birdie science adventure ladies, and we use this space to profile our new members. Elsa even agreed to draw their pictures. So the back of every issue is 2 women who work in technology and science doing an interview with the creator.
Oh, wow.
That's their letters page.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's their letters page.
That's amazing.
It's such a positive, like, I don't know if you follow, did you see Nick Spencer on Twitter this morning?
Yeah. No, not this morning.
Okay, I'm going to read these to you. Because
Nick Spencer's amazing on Twitter.
Nick Spencer is amazing. We're talking about Cap next. But I just want to quote him directly here. People tweeted at him, hey, I know, let's take a popular character, swap it with X, and if it tanks, it's because of misogyny or racism. Nick Spencer replied with, hey, I know, let's never have a problem with legacy characters until they're POC or women. That won't be transparent at all. The same guy then tweeted at Spencer, hey, I know, let's alienate our core demographic of readership and then whine about how people are racist. Nick Spencer replied, if a black character take up the mantle of a white character alienates you, consider that the comic may not be the problem.
Oh, no, I did see these yesterday.
Marvel is not about your shits.
No. Like, I love it, man.
Like, that's not some staffer. That's not some guy who's got a .com page. This is a guy who's writing 2 of the biggest books Marvel has.
He's writing Captain of fucking America.
He's writing. This is the guy who's putting the words that appear in Captain America's mouth every week, every month. And let's so have you read what you caught with both books?
Yeah.
Let's just really quickly before we get too deep into either one, juxtapose this. You have Steve fucking Rogers, who this week's Captain America hit a level of villainy almost comical. You're like, well, that's a ridiculously evil plan. On the other hand, you've got a black Captain America in Sam Wilson, and I'm calling him Black Captain America because it's gone from making that be like make it feel weird about it to a point of pride.
Right.
This is a black
Captain America.
Captain America. You may be Captain Black America. I haven't decided yet. But black's going in the name. Holy shit. And knowing that Nick Spencer just some woke ass white dude makes you want to dab him up that much harder.
Right. That's the thing about
I'm like, this dude here.
Like, dude, I've been reading Sam Wilson and be like, all right, man, who's your fucking ghostwriter?
Who's writing with you?
Who's writing these books, yo? Are you married to a black woman? Like, who's writing this shit, dog? Because it can't be.
Can you teach the rest of them?
Right.
Is that what you're doing with this comic?
Right.
Quietly, yes, he is. No one pay attention.
Right. Like,
He's educating so many people about the realities of racism to the point where, like, normally they talk about race in a book. I'm like, that was close. Or, that was all right. I read Captain America books. I put it down, I nod.
right. Right.
Yeah. Goddamn right, Nick.
You're reading like a Tallahassee Coach article, yo. It's like,
Yeah, I'm like, yo, Nick's not coming to the cookout. He may host the motherfucker.
right.
Good night, man. Chris, was it surprising to you?
Yeah, no, like, so I started reading the Steve Rogers. I've been on the Sam Wilson shit.
Yeah,
I started reading the Steve Rogers stuff, and my first thing was, okay, look, if you were reading the book, there's no way you got upset at this.
Issue 1.
Because when you read it, you're like, oh, okay, they give you an out. They tell you why he's doing this, and it's a genius plan. It goes all the way back to, it goes back and explains what happened in Pleasant Hill, and I'm like, this is, like, I gotta go back and read the Pleasant Hill shit now again, because this puts it all in perspective. Like, this whole, like, there was that one, I think it was in issue 2, where Red Skull basically explains how he changed Steve Rogers to what he is now. There's that image of him as the Red Skull laying in the bed reading that Hydra bedtime story to Kubrick, and I'm just like, nigga. And she's like, can you? And they all lived happily ever after again. I'm like, he's really treating it like a child, and oh my god, like,
it's fucking working.
It's working. Like, it all makes.
What that is, it's the background on everything that happened in Pleasant Hill,
right? And it explains everything so much. And you see, so yeah, when you're reading this, yeah, it's Hydra Cap, and they changed him, but it's like, you see that it's not like he did it himself. It's obviously at some point they'll probably bring Steve back, but I'll be honest, I don't give a shit. I kind of like this. We've never had anything like this before. You literally have a book which is a guy who is evil, who we thought was good.
Like we're not going to
evil.
spoil how evil. He's super evil. Like, the shit he pulled this month, I was like, what the fuck, Cap? Steve, fuck you, man. Like, it's super evil.
And look, when we say he's super evil, like, the motherfucker threw what was the dude's name? Jack Flag?
Yeah.
Yeah, threw him out of he was helping Cap, threw him out of a plane. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's not even as evil as Steve gets, okay? Just, like, yeah, no, man, it's amazing. I love it. And this is where we go when we say that the books outside of Civil War were even better. And so, I think Civil War 2 was a great story. Were even better because, like, there's the end of there's that time in Spider-Man where Genki's talking to Miles, and you keep asking him, well, you didn't kill Captain, did you? You didn't kill Captain. You know, and at one point, Genki even says, well, like, maybe, like, the reason why you were there is you, like, kind of, like, found out that Captain was evil. And I looked at that page and was like, what if somehow next year...
This is all a long, slow burn to Genki being a hero.
Not only that, but what if we find out that a year from now, Miles does find out that Steve is evil, and he's the one that ends up stopping him, and the vision comes true?
Yeah.
He keeps saying, I would never do that, but I'm like, yeah, but because you don't know how evil Captain America is right now.
How ridiculously over the top evil.
I'm just, Oh, dude, so good.
It's so evil. And people who want to get mad at things, who don't read stories, that's fine. You people will exist. You want your clicks. I get it. Mm-hmm. For people who are listening to this podcast, fuck those people. Don't listen to those people. Trust me. If you've got a creator who has a track record that Nick Spencer does, that a Brian Bendis does, people forget that for all the shit talk about Brian Bendis, who's writing that Spider-Man book?
Yeah. I'm writing his ass off on it.
Who's writing Infamous Iron Man?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can point fingers and say, I don't like X creator, I don't like Y creator. This is the best. The Captain America books, and the fact that there's a family of Captain America books blows my fucking mind. Right. They couldn't keep Captain America in circulation in the 90s.
Right.
They've got 2 books that are great, that are not just financial successes, critical acclaim.
Yeah.
Find me a negative review of Cap or Sam's book.
Like, I love how Nick hit somebody with that on Twitter the other day. Someone was like, "Oh, well, you're ruining Cap." He's like, "Well, can you give me an explanation of why you did all this stuff and why does it matter?" And I think you're ruining it. Blah, blah. He's like, "Well, just go. You know what? I got one better for you. Go check all the year-end best book reviews." And see
Nick Spencer is not here for your shit.
And see the books are on there. He's like, they'll do a better job explaining it than I will. I'm just like,
don't watch me watch TV. Like,
right.
As opposed to being like, you know what, I couldn't defend my shit. I'm gonna let everybody who talks great about me do it.
Right. I'm gonna let these writers over here handle my light work.
Oh, the lightest of work.
Right. The lightest of work. Yeah. I'm one issue back on Ultimates.
Ultimates is so fun.
Oh no, Ultimates.
It's also yes. Okay, we'll get back to Ultimates. This is hard to do.
Yeah,
it was Marvel, and I don't want people to think that it's just that. Marvel's been this good for this long.
Yeah,
like this isn't like with the DC stuff. We're discovering new things, discovering old things that have become better with time. Here it's just like us giggling because. Oh, this has been great for a while. I'm just glad I have someone to talk to about.
Right. I'm saving up. So I'm back to saving up my Black Panther runs.
Me too.
So I'm saving. You know what? Yeah, I'm three
that's
behind.
That's not a superhero book.
Yeah, I'm saving them. So that's what I do. I also because I want to wait. And we'll probably just what we'll do is we'll find a time to do this. When I'm maybe like 1 or 2 more issues of this. And we'll do a special Super Tuesday, and we'll talk about the rest of Black Panther, and we'll also talk about World of Wakanda, because I'm getting that book too. I just haven't read it yet. I just want to I like the Black Panther books. Again, I can't speak on World of Wakanda, but at least the Black Panther book itself right now, it needs its own time. Like it is one of those things that you just read and you're just like, oh wow, it's not like the other books where it really does feel. It really feels like I'm reading a novel.
And let's say that about Marvel too. Like as much as we're about to praise all these different books, the variety of output that they're giving us.
Yeah.
There's something literally like Unstoppable Wasp is a legitimate 0 to 80 read. Mm-hmm. Anyone can read that.
Yeah.
Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. Anyone can read that. Mm-hmm. And not to belabor it or to give these people more of a platform than they deserve, but everyone is like, oh, they're just doing this for sales No. Like, Marvel's invested in this shit. And for those who are like, oh, no, it's just a fad. Motherfucker, this is the future.
This is the longest fad I've seen in a while, yo.
And people who say, my comics were never political. Did you ever read, I don't know, comics?
Right, bullshit.
What the fuck are you talking about? Those people are the worst because they're just parachuting in for their faux outrage and leaving.
Right. Never read these books.
I'm not reading Daredevil, but I've been told I should.
Okay.
I've been told how good Daredevil is. I'm just going down the list of stuff I need to read. Mm-hmm. And that's saying a lot because I read a lot of Marvel stuff. The Guardians Post-Secret Wars book was great. It was really a lot of fun with Kitty Pryde and Ben Grimm on the team. Spoilers, they came home during Civil War, and now they're all scattered and trapped, and they've all, there's a new Rocket book, there's a #1 Rocket book out. Mm-hmm. Things appearing in Infamous Iron Man now. Peter Quill's got his own book, They're All on Earth. It's all really, really good, actually. It's intertwined. And that's the thing about Marvel storytelling. They'll pop up in Ultimates, or they'll pop up in Captain Marvel, because those all stories are all connected. Mm-hmm. And they did a really good job of making it feel like one universe again. Ghost Rider, I've been disappointed with. Did you read the new Ghost Rider?
I didn't read the new issues that come out yet with
Didn't love it. I'm not gonna lie. You know me. I was in. I wanted.
Oh
to
no,
love
we
it.
loved those for that first run.
I wanted to love it. Maybe I need to give more time. I don't know.
Okay.
Hawkeye, I've heard is really good. It's Kate. What's her last name?
I know what you're talking about.
It's the young lady Hawkeye.
Yeah.
His last name, I don't know. Kate Spencer, maybe, I don't know. But she's a lot of fun, and it's a really good book. And if you guys know the Hawkeye team, guys, they're keeping that same spirit that we've had in the Hawkeye books. So if you like Hawkeye, read that. Champions, we already talked about, but I know you're not reading it yet. It's great.
I've seen enough.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I know this is on everyone's year-end list. We're staying in Avengers book still. It was on everyone's year-end list, and you and I have talked about it lightly. The Vision is 12 issues of perfect comics.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you finished it?
I think I'm 2 issues behind.
It's a fucking tearjerker.
Yeah.
Like it is. People say you can't do action comics, you can't do horror because there's no. This is 12 issues of a horror movie. Because you know the bad thing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's all about waiting for it. It's inevitable. It's a psychological thriller and it's disturbing to read.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying the new Hulk book. Jen Walters is now Hulk. They've taken her from being She-Hulk. You've only got one issue out now, but I've really enjoyed that one issue. I think they're gonna do something really interesting with that. Let's see, what else am I reading? Invincible Iron Man we talked about with Riri. Infamous we talked about. Let's talk about Inhuman books. Do you read any of the Inhuman books?
No. No.
Okay, neither do I.
Yeah.
So, an important question I got to ask is that on us for being old people who just don't want to embrace this new thing?
I think
or have the books not made enough impact where we felt the need to do it?
Honestly, my whole thing is I just haven't gotten around to it. Like, that's my thing.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, yeah, I mean, I think that for a lot of people it is. I think I see a lot of people who are X-Men fans who don't want to read the Inhuman thing, and they feel like Marvel slighted the X-Men. It's the bullshit that Bleeding Cool did, where they basically try to say that Marvel was slighting the X-Men for the Inhumans, which I never got because they never really bared out in actual fact. But I think just people, if you were an X-Men person, it's hard to switch over to now Inhumans, which are kind of similar in the same thing. So, yeah.
Well, now we're coming to a head with. So I don't know if you read Death of X, which was a 4-issue run they did. Which if you read the X books or read any real Marvel after Secret Wars, there was kind of like this ongoing 8-month, because there was an 8-month gap, and there was was a thing that Cyclops did. No one wanted to talk about it. And they do this Death of X miniseries where they reveal what happened to Cyclops. Spoilers, he dies, but the way they do it is really beautiful and well done. But you got to remember they killed Cyclops, and it was really I enjoyed the miniseries. It's one of the things where you kind of knew something bad was going to happen, but the way they pull it off is really well done. You like him, Frost, so you really like the series, I think. Okay. And now we're ramping into the Inhumans versus X-Men, like the war, I guess. IVX is what they're calling the miniseries. The first issue is awesome. For you and me who are old school X-Men fans who are like, I'm really tired of the X-Men kind of, even if we knew it wasn't true, I'm tired of the perception of the X-Men getting shit on. It opens with a council of leading X-Men deciding that they're going to take the fight to the Inhumans, Hank abstaining from voting because he's been living with the Inhumans, and Storm hitting him with a lightning bolt. So sorry, old friend. And then you watch them systematically take out the Inhumans. And because for as many of the Inhumans as there are, and like they're a big force, the X-Men have been fighting for survival since their inception.
Right.
And the way they pull that shit off is awesome. They send Emma Frost and Dazzler after Black Bolt. Emma Frost goes diamond so he can't talk and hurt her. And Dazzler converts sound into lasers.
Oh, God.
I'll leave that to your imagination. But it's awesome. It's a tactical way of taking down Black Bolt that never crossed my mind. So yeah, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be. I think keep the momentum up from the first issue. I'm excited about it. Jessica Jones has been a good read. It's nothing notable, but I think it's a solid book, and I think Bendis is doing some of his long storytelling there. Okay, so let's talk about X-Men books you should be reading.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my notes. I'm gonna write these.
Well, make sure see that's the other thing is there's so many goddamn names of these X books.
That's the thing. Yeah, I was like, I need some help.
And you're right to ask for it. I'm trying to make sure I'm getting the right ones for you because I don't want to lead you astray. The thing is, after IVX, the books are changing again.
Mm-hmm.
So I almost feel weird about recommending these runs, but
you might
these are runs,
catch up on them. Yeah.
These are just runs I've enjoyed. Post Secret Wars, I think it's Extraordinary X-Men. Let me make sure. Pull it up here. Extraordinary X-Men is the X-Men team with Nightcrawler, Storm, Colossus, Wolverine, Old Iceman, Magic, and young Jean Grey. I really enjoyed it. It's kind of the story of them trying to exist in this new Inhuman-infested world because the Terrigen Mists that make the Inhumans are also killing mutants.
Yeah, kill mutants, yeah.
One of the high concepts of the book is that they've relocated the X-Mansion to fucking Limbo. Which, yes, that's the sound of someone who's read a lot of X-Men. Like, that doesn't sound like a good idea. It's the appropriate reaction to that suggestion.
Right.
All New X-Men is close to my heart because it's, if you remember, I guess last year, 2 years ago, Hank McCoy brought the original 5 X-Men into our time.
Right.
There have been impediments. Something's keeping them from bringing them back, sending them back. And so they've done a really good job of kind of integrating these X-Men. All New X-Men is a run. It's probably going to be over. It's Dennis Hopeless. Cullen Bunn's writing Uncanny, which people are going to tell you to read Uncanny, Chris. It's Greg Land art, so do what you want. I can't read Greg Land art. I just can't do it.
I know.
All New X-Men's got young Cyclops, young Iceman, who's by the way, the way they've handled him coming out has been very, very tactfully done. In my opinion, Hopeless does that really well. Light touch there. It's got Young Beast, Young Angel, the new Wolverine, who's X-23, Kid Apocalypse, and Oya from the All New X-Men run from last year. And I really enjoyed this book. It feels like X-Men. It's kids on the run trying to help people. Like it's
Which one's that again?
It's All New X-Men.
Okay.
It's only 16 issues out right now. I think they're probably going to get to 17 or 18 before IVX cannibalizes it and spits out a new number 1. But yeah, I've really enjoyed that book. Cable, and there's a heavy X-Men presence in Uncanny Avengers. So if you want a good fix there, there's a lot of X-Men stuff there. Gambit's appeared a couple times in that. Cable's playing a really big role, and you can see them getting distrustful of Steve as well, which is interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of Marvel stuff that I'm reading. It's hard to keep track of it all, but it's all really good. And that's one thing about Marvel. I want to tip my cap to them because I'm reading so many books that are so like Unstoppable Wasp couldn't be more different from X-Men.
Right.
But they're both great books, and they're both something that the company is like. The fact that they're going to sacrifice their letters page to feature female scientists.
That's a good thing.
Like real life, like there's a picture of one of the young ladies from Ghostbusters on the red carpet. There's a girl out there dressed up like a Ghostbuster, and it's a picture of them kneeling on the red carpet, and someone captioned it, "Representation matters. Unless you can see it, it's harder to conceive achieving it." Mm-hmm. And Marvel's female positive, like the featuring of a scientist in the back of Unstoppable Wasp, it's never been done before.
Yeah, I mean
it's never been done before.
Like when people always like, this is the thing when people always say, "Oh, Marvel doesn't care. They're just trying to," I'm like, if they didn't care, I've seen what not caring looks like.
Yeah, we know what not caring looks like.
I've seen what not caring looks like. This is different, and I'll take this. It might not be perfect, but I'll take this and evolving. That's a great idea. It's something I wouldn't have even thought about. You know?
Yeah, it's so interesting because you're right. It's something that we wouldn't even consider before, but now it's like, oh my god, it's such a great platform.
Yeah. So.
And Marvel's like, it's not just happening in the books. Every time Unstoppable Wasp issue comes out, they tweet out the link to the issue, but they also tweet out the 2 Twitter accounts of the young ladies who they feature.
Oh wow, yeah, that's awesome.
And so I've got the Marvel. I'll send you the Marvel tweet from when it came out. Yeah, it's something that's so small, but not even small. It's super positive.
No, that's a huge thing. That's not. I don't think that's small. I think that's pretty big. That's
and
awesome.
The 2 women who were featured have already updated their profile pictures to the art from the issue that the artist drew them in.
Oh wow!
Like.
That's awesome.
This is some real like future type shit like that changes the world, and I'm without sounding like weird or like this is why you make my Marvel, man. This is why I love Marvel. Mm-hmm. Partially, I think it's because of what their corporate structures evolved into with the film division being so far separate from the comics division and making so much money. And the comic division is really, people are like, oh, you're trying to make the books match the movies. Then why was Ben Grimm in Guardians?
Right.
Why was Kitty in Guardians?
Right.
Because they're taking chances. And by the way, it's not lost on me that Brian Bendis put Ben Grimm and Kitty in space, and he puts Moon Knight up there. I'm like, look, he's just building space Jewish Avengers.
Right.
That's all he's doing. And so it's just really well done. I'm really proud of Marvel for taking the baton, because they make enough money for the movies. They could tie all their shit to the movies. Mm-hmm. And they'd probably do okay.
Right.
Because the movies sell like fucking gangbusters.
Right.
But they're using that flexibility to do things like Unstoppable Wasp, to do things like Invincible Iron Man, to do things that Black Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I almost finished our Marvel talk. Are you reading the Spider books?
Oh, only Spider-Man, but I need to get the other ones. I know.
Chris, are you not reading Dead No More?
No.
In the Clone Conspiracy?
I need to. I know.
I'm going to tell you the twist when we get off the air, and you're going to pick up the book today. You're going to pick up all of today. As soon as we're done here, remind you about the twist. Dan Slott's a goddamn genius in what he's done in these Spider books. By the way, the Prowler book, the spinoff, and I was like, who needs a Prowler book? I need a Prowler book. I was wrong. I think that's what I said. I was like, who needs a Prowler book? Mm-hmm. False. Couldn't have been more wrong. I apologize, Mr. Slott and team. Good. Oh, that's someone at Marvel who you don't want to try on the Twitter.
Oh, no. Dan Slott doesn't give a shit.
Dan Slott will roast you and then retweet himself roasting you. Mm-hmm. Dan Slott said that his New Year's resolution was to not make fun of Batman vs Superman anymore. But he said, but we're 45 minutes from New Year's, so right. He tweeted out one of those Martha gifts.
Right. Yeah.
It's so good. Like, Dan Slott's what's up, man. Most follows on Twitter are Dan Slott and Nick Spencer, hands down.
Yeah, hands down. Yeah, man. I know I need to get into the other Spider-Man books.
No, as soon as we get off the phone, I'm gonna tell you what happens at the end of one of the books, and you're like, oh well, I'm picking up all these books now.
All right. So you want to do Civil War 2 real quick?
Yes.
Finish this up. Yeah. So So the first thing I want to say about Civil War 2, different than Civil War 1 is.
Oh, before we do that, Ultimates. Are we reading Ultimates?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm behind by one issue, but yeah, Ultimates is fucking amazing.
They did something in the latest issue that, for anyone who's a fan of Marvel, like old school Marvel, is batshit insane. Have you read this part yet?
No.
Okay, I won't spoil it for you then. We'll talk about it next time we talk comics. Batshit insane. And Ultimates might low-key be the most important book in the Marvel Universe because it deals with, where this universe came from.
No, it is.
Because it openly acknowledges that this is the universe that's been created after Secret War. For them, Secret War happened.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, it's unclear as to what happened.
Yeah.
But there are certain characters that know. Doom knows.
Mm-hmm.
Doom remembers being God.
Yes. Which
ties into his explanation as to why he's being Iron Man in the new issue, which is really creepy and really awesome. Sorry, Civil War 2.
Ultimates is one of the...
It's low-key the most important book in Marvel.
It is, and if you're not reading Ultimates, you should be reading Ultimates, and it's got a diverse cast.
I just got an alert. Mark Hamill is dubbing Trump's tweets as the Joker.
Oh, no, I've seen that. Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I knew What's-His-Face was doing it off of... Zach Brannigan from Futurama.
Right, but now Mark Hamill is as Joker, and it's, yes.
Oh, well, I know. That's the rest of my afternoon.
Right. Civil War 2, man. Listen, a lot of people see this event as just another event, money grab, blah, blah, blah. I see this as, it's a great way to deal with all the things you had, basically bringing the universe together, the Marvel universe together, and drawing battle lines. I think this is, to me, Civil War 2 doesn't end the war. It kind of starts a whole new set of things going on.
Yeah, because they kind of removed the inciting problem from Civil War 2, but the division's still there.
Right. All the problems that were caused there, the profile, there's the end of it with Hank talking to, McCoy talking to Carol, just Tony really, it's not that he didn't trust you. She's like, what are you talking about? He didn't trust me. He was like, No, he's trying to trust what didn't come after you. It's like if you made this normalized and you normalize profiling, what happens when it's somebody who isn't you?
Right. Someone we don't know.
Right. Like, you do realize it's a big mess, you know? So, you know, I don't know.
I think this have been doing a great job of making me dislike Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think some people didn't want that. But,
They made her very, and she played the Tony role from Civil War. Spoiler: Civil War One. Tony's an asshole.
mm-hmm.
Tony is a jackbooted thug who's an asshole. Like, there's no redeeming Tony Stark because of Mark Millar's ham-fisted writing.
Here you get why
You get Carol's side.
right.
She's wrong,
But you get it.
but you get it.
And in a way, they don't make Tony the good guy because again, reading the Spider-Man books is, I think the Spider-Man books are one of the most important books in the Civil War saga. You have Miles basically like, he'll even say it's like, yeah, Tony was trying to protect me, but nobody asked me what I wanted.
Right.
He didn't. They were both Carol and Tony were making choices for him. Nobody let him make his own choices. You know, which again puts, just like Civil War One, puts a Spider-Man, you know, in the middle of the war.
Which I thought was really kind of important that he saved Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
It was important to Tony as a character that he saved this. He couldn't save Peter. He saved Miles.
Right. Exactly. So, and I thought that was very important, man. I don't know. I loved how it was going down. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't like it because it was so. If they had named it Civil War, I think maybe a lot more people would have opened. But that name, I think, got a lot of people. And
well, also like the deliberate introduction of MacGuffin just taken away. I didn't like that. There are a lot of structural reasons I didn't love Civil War 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you had tied it to Assault on Pleasant Hill, one, it made that matter more.
Yeah.
And two, it made it felt like more earned stakes.
Yeah, what they did with what was Ulysses at the end? I mean, the end.
You had
Ulysses,
to. First of all, you had to.
But the end
or
with
kill
Ulysses,
him. Like, he had to go away.
Right, but it was like it felt kind of rushed.
It totally felt rushed.
Yeah, it felt rushed and like you did. And maybe isn't there a Ulysses book, solo book?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Ooh,
maybe I'm
check.
wrong.
Oh, hold on.
Cause that'll explain more. But it felt kind of ham-fisted the way they handled him. No, you know what? It's not a whole series. It's just one issue, I think.
There's a prequel, I know.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
So, but yeah, so I don't know. It just that's what got me.
Let's spoil it. I guess it's a month old now.
Mm-hmm.
Civil War II ends with Ulysses transforming into like the latest cosmic constant,
Mm-hmm.
and which is fine and interesting. And you look flashes of future times that may or may not come to pass, which include but not limited to the Monsters Unleashed that we know is coming in first quarter 17. Also, people said that it was the Inhumans vs. X-Men panel. That page was a little weird for me because the only person opposing the X-Men in that is Sam Alexander.
Yeah.
Who's not an Inhuman, which I thought was really strange. There's the panel with, I think it's, I've forgotten the character's name. Shoot. Killraven.
Yeah.
Who Bendis loves and never gets to work him in anything. Killraven defending Medusa in the future, and then you get the return of a presumably unworthy. We can talk about Thor books. We can do that too.
Yeah.
Unworthy Thor with the Mjolnir versus overpowered Loki, looking like to be merged with the God Butcher. Which, if that's what Jason Aaron is doing, you're a psychopath, sir. Sorry. We'll get to his Thor run in a second.
Yeah. Oh, we also had Ulysses running into the Old Man Logan future as well.
Right. Yep. You saw that too. Saw the pictures of that. And the whole thing is it was a great way to kind of showcase all the different things Marvel could be. But at the same time, the whole series felt, I think you're right. I think the best of this series was in the tie-ins. Mm-hmm. Like, you get the Amadeus Cho and Clint Barton crying in a diner.
Right.
I didn't want to kill my friend. Like, that's a fallout that I can get behind.
Yeah. I think that, to me, is what the purpose of Civil War II was. Not that it was like it was the fractures that'll come and the things the ripples that'll come, effects will come out of it that you were seeing throughout the entire Civil War. Like I said,
right.
you can't just read Civil War II on itself and not read your other books. Not meaning that your other books don't make sense if you don't read Civil War II, but I think Civil War II itself doesn't make sense if you're not reading some of those other books. Which is like kind of reversed, because usually it's the other way around, right? Usually it's the other way around where the peripheral books are the ones that don't make sense without the main. To me, the main, like, because I read some of the other stuff first, because even Justin told me before you finish Civil War II, make sure you catch up on Steve Rogers.
Right.
So even doing that, so when I read those other things first and then finished up Civil War II, I felt so much better about it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think too. I think the fact that I was reading everything alongside it really helped my appreciation of the main book. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much I'd love the main book by itself.
No, I agree with you on that one. Because I don't think you get the full weight of what's going on in the main book without this stuff around it. Like, shit, at one point I was reading Ultimates right alongside with Civil War II, and it made, to me, you know what it is? The peripheral books, I can't even call them peripheral books. The rest of the books you're reading in the universe, because almost every other book you're reading in the universe has some kind of effect, subtle tie-in or whatnot with Civil War II, with the exception of maybe Black Panther. They expand more on the discussion that's going on.
Right.
The profiling discussion. Like, there's a whole 2 issues in Ultimates where the team literally fights itself because they don't know who to, Miss America's like, fuck this. And like basically hits Carol on the head with a chair or something like that. It's like, not doing this shit. Like, all that stuff made me appreciate the main book so much more because you see the real effects of what's going. Like, the main book isn't just some insulated storyline. It's something that literally has wide-reaching effects throughout the rest of the universe. And it's taking off some major characters off the board. It took Tony Stark off the board, took Hulk off, it took Bruce Banner off the board. It's taking some major characters. Rhodey's now out of the book.
Jim Rhodes funeral in Captain America.
Exactly.
Like what?
Like, to me, that was the benefit and purpose of Civil War II. Yeah, the main book is fine and okay. But to me, what it did was it changed how Marvel does events, in that all the books around it are the real story. Whatever book you were reading before Civil War II, it got affected by Civil War II, but it didn't require you to read that main story. You just knew what was going on. Like I said, you could read all of Spider-Man and never actually read Civil War II, and you get the effects of Civil War II.
Because a good writer is handling the notable and sensical emotional impact.
Right. And I think that's, to me, the legacy of Civil War II, and why I really enjoyed it as an event. Maybe not as a book series itself, but as an event, I enjoyed it because it made sense. I didn't catch up on it yet, but I think Rob was talking about how there's some good stuff in Power Man and Iron Fist that tie into Civil War II. There's a good little thing that's involved there. That to me is where Civil War II really shown. The individual 8 issues itself, okay.
They're not bad. They're not sitting here crapping on. It's not a bad event.
No.
It's just, it felt more impactful outside of it.
Yeah, and I think that, to me, I think that's good.
Yeah. No, because you know what? You're going to bring in the casuals by saying Civil War II. Mm-hmm. Or if you say, like, hey, man, Spider-Man kind of resonated with me, I'm going to read that book. And then the thing you read not only ties into the thing that got you there, but adds depth to it.
Yeah. From
a pure marketing and sales standpoint, it makes perfect fucking sense. And from a pure storytelling standpoint, thank you, Marvel.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So.
And I think that with these creators getting these longer, they're signing for longer runs. It allows them not to feel like, because you'd see like after an event, it'd be like, they'd have the event aftermath, like printed on the cover, and or Fallout, or like Operation Zero Tolerance aftermath, or Onslaught Fallout, and it feels ham-fisted, it feels rushed, it feels like, oh, here's how we get rid of all this right now. This is something that's going to affect the Spider-Man book for a while.
Oh yeah.
And as opposed to Bendis saying, shit, I've only got, I don't know how many more issues I've got. I need to rush and get back to the story I was telling. He says, no, I can keep telling my story and use this new stuff to flavor that story with it.
Dude.
To make it have more depth and more impact on a larger scale.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that when it had nothing to do with Civil War II, but when Dugan tells Jefferson, he's like, your wife's gonna find out, right?
But I said if, not when. No, I said when, not if.
Right. And I'm just like, oh, we know that's coming, and that's not gonna be good. That's not gonna be good. Yeah, man. Yeah. So that's my feelings of War II. Like I said, I think if you're reading a lot of these books outside of it beforehand, I think you should be happy with the event. I mean, of course, if you were just there for the event itself.
Yeah, if this is what brought you to Marvel, welcome. Find all these characters that you. So say you enjoyed Cap, Steve Cap, go read his book. Trust me. If you enjoyed Sam Cap, go read his book. If you enjoyed Spider-Man, definitely go read his book. If you enjoyed Peter Parker and the panels he was in, please read his book because Dan Slott's a psychopath. The Guardian stuff, and I know people say, "Oh, the events are just advertised for other books." Yes,
good advertising.
And it feels like Marvel's just embraced that and said, "Fuck it." Yeah. We're gonna have our event and we're gonna tell our story too.
Why wouldn't you want that? Why wouldn't you want
they found the middle ground between that we all ask for, between commerce and creativity. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see if DC can keep finding theirs with this Watchmen stuff.
Oh yeah.
But this right here, this Civil War II's in some ways is the perfect modern event. Mm-hmm. In that it does change the universe, it does change the stakes, it does matter. But at the end of the day, the repercussions are longer than 8 issues.
Exactly.
And that's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right.
Should we talk about Thor for a second?
Let's talk about your Thor books, man.
Oh my God, Jason Aaron, you psychopath. Are you reading them?
I have the Mighty Thor books on my tablet. I need to catch up on them. But
okay.
You know how I feel. Yeah, Jason Aaron, yeah.
Because he just started writing The Unworthy Thor. Mm-hmm. Which is Odin's son, which is awesome. If you've been reading him since the beginning, you may remember the arc of the 3 Thors, the young Thor, our Thor, and old Thor fighting the God Butcher. You may have thought he abandoned that plot line when he brought in X. Is she still a spoiler? Can I say who it is?
No, we know. Hey, come on. It's Jane Foster. Yeah.
Okay. When the Jane Foster thing happened, people felt like, oh, maybe some of those Thor threads are getting dropped. Nah. Oh my God. Yeah. Also, slowly Ragnarok somehow become like my most anticipated movie of 2017. I don't know when it happened. Somewhere between the words collector and gladiator and Thor and Hulk. Like I don't know when it happened, but all of a sudden this is the movie I'm most excited for.
Yeah.
Like this is not one that I know I'm going to watch. I haven't reached radio silence on it yet, but everything I hear, I'm like, oh, I want to watch it more now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Consistently. So after I think Thor 1 was well regarded. Thor 2 was a little disjointed for people. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's fine. I agree with that. I think this is going to be a really, really, really good movie. Mm-hmm. And I think Doctor Strange is playing a bigger role than originally reported. It's going to be very interesting in watching him try to escape this planet by beating up the Hulk. Which is such a sentence you shouldn't be able to say about a movie in 2017. But here we are.
But you know what? It comes back to their little back and forth in Avengers 1 where they fought and so I'm looking forward to that. Round 2.
God. So good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, we covered a lot, man.
We did cover a lot.
And there's still so much more I got to read, so yeah. We're going to get on that. We gave you guys a lot of recommendations, a lot of books to go out and check out. Here's the thing, too. If they're older books, check Marvel Unlimited if they're Marvel. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check some of these things on Marvel Unlimited, see if they're up there, and get caught up. DC, hey, look at it this side. For Rebirth, they're $2.99. So,
yeah,
that's not that bad. So,
and Marvel Unlimited is only 6 months behind, right?
Yeah. So some of these things should be out there by now. So, that's the beginning of them. So, yeah, man, what a time, man. And here's the other thing, too. Again, we talked about the IDW stuff. Again, Uber, check it out. Lost Light, check it out. A lot of stuff out there. I mean, you can find something for you that you'll enjoy to read.
Read Unstoppable Wasp, please.
Yes.
I need this book to make a good long run.
Yeah, me too.
I need Nick Spencer able to throw this book in people's faces.
Yeah, so that's it for our comic talk on the Super Tuesday recap. We will be back Wednesday to cover Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. returning, the LMD arc. And no break, man. No break.
Robots plus magic equals bad. That's something it just covers a lot of sci-fi.
What could possibly go wrong?
What could go right? That's my question. What was the end goal here?
Right. What could go right? Oh boy, this is gonna be bad. So, all right, folks, guys, thank you very much for listening, and until next time, we are out of here. Peace.